Hello, welcome to the 30k channel. I'm your host, David Brains, and I've been joined by two returners, John and Steve. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Really great to have these guys back. You've brought me some amazing Raven Guard, as always.
Very good.
Very distinct paint job, we love that.
Yeah.
And John, you've embarked on a new army.
Well, this is my original Heresy army.
Yeah.
Before I had the Iron Warriors, I had the Mechanicum, and I've kind of found my direction for them at the moment, so I've expanded them a little, and here we are with my Lorica Thalax list, basically.
Yeah, looks great. It's good to see someone else getting in on the Thalax action as well, which is fantastic. We've got a bit of a treat, really. We've got Zone Mortalis. We haven't played Zone Mortalis for absolutely ages, and you guys contacted me about a couple of months ago and said we want to do Zone Mortalis, and I said yes. So fantastic news. And we've got a bit of a special mission objective lined up today, haven't we?
Yeah,
Yes,
absolutely.
we have.
Do you
Yeah.
want to take us through that?
Yeah. So the idea is that the Raven Guard are raiding a Dark Mechanicum vessel construction facility or vehicle construction facility, where there is a fragment of STC for the Macrocarad Explorator, and the Raven Guard are trying to capture or destroy this STC fragment to stop the Dark Mechanicum from producing more to reinforce the traitor forces.
Yes.
So we're using the Macrocarad Explorator here as an objective. It's the last one that's come off the production lines. It's getting its coat of wax and being polished up and ready to go, and the Raven Guard are there to try and stop more from coming off the lines.
It's a little bit ironic, really, because it's such a great looking model, and unfortunately, they've gone out of production. So it's quite fitting that we've got the last one in existence in this facility, and the Raven Guard, boo hiss, are trying to take it out.
Boo hiss.
I don't blame you, though.
It's very much boo hiss. Yeah.
It's quite a powerful tank, though. If you look at the rules, there's some good rules to it. It's a solid piece of kit. It's a Land Raider, isn't it?
It's an improved Land Raider. 14 all round, flare shield on it. You can have all sorts of horrendous exotic weaponry on it. It's got the IRAD cleansers on it at the moment, which will, I mean, they're not in use in the game. It's there as dressing, but if they were in use, it would definitely melt Steve's Marines quite quickly.
It's also quite heavy, so if you put it in a sock, it has multiple uses.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
No, waste of a model, waste of a model. And the Raven Guard, you've got a formidable force to take on this Dark Mechanicum.
Accidentally, yes.
Two dreads are really good in Zone Mortalis. You've got a lot of AP2 in there, haven't you, with the plasmas on the dreads?
And I've got special rules that make things have rending everywhere as well. So it is accidentally quite a powerful list.
Mordathan with Flamers is quite a powerful combination.
Yeah. And with the Zone Mortalis rules, they've already got Shred because of their lethal strike special rule. So their combi Flamers go up to strength 5 as well. Yeah.
It's really good. So the Raven Guard mean business, don't you?
Yeah.
And so for the mission to represent this kind of scenario taking place, we're using War of Lies, and the objective is not the Macrocarad. There's a little console that will sit behind it, and essentially if either force hold that objective at the end of the game, then it's a D3 on the Warlord, on the War of Lies chart. So it's always a good one because you can play your heart out, and in the last second it gets snatched away from you.
Yeah.
But we are using the other secondary objectives in War of Lies, so you can kind of stack those in your favour before you get to that fateful roll.
Yeah. So it's not going to be just on holding that objective. There are other things we can do. So we're using Death Toll and Slay the Warlord as well. Yeah. So there are ways if Steve kind of infiltrates onto it, then I can still hopefully destroy enough of his units to keep me in the game.
Yes, there's all to play for. It's going to be quite a tense game. Both armies are quite effective, and your Urthrax in particular will pack a punch.
I mean, I've not really used them in this quantity. I've got 2 squads of 4 here, which should be it'll be interesting to see how they go. They're quite an unusually stat-lined unit. I think they've got some kind of slightly bizarre Volkite weapon.
Yeah, the chest-mounted Volkite.
Yeah, which they can use in close combat, but it's one attack, and I'd rather use 4 Power Fist attacks than one Strength 6 AP2 attack. But yeah, I mean they're going to be interesting to see. I imagine they'll probably just start pinballing around the facility, bouncing off walls, and as soon as they activate their jump packs, they'll be splatting off things. But it'll be good to use them and see how they get on against those Contemptors.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
A few points to note about the game. We're not using Cold in the Void, and we're not using any stratagems. It's just a straight, almost Age of Darkness game, I guess, set in Zone Mortalis. The only thing we have modified ever so slightly is we are using the ambush deployment zone. And the Mechanicum, where John has a 2-foot square panel right in the centre of the board, and then obviously the Raven Guard are represented by coming in on the outside. So, it'll be really interesting to see whether whether the Raven Guard stack all your odds on one side, whether you break half. It'll be really interesting to see how that happens, and we're all fighting over that central objective. So
yeah, I mean, I think that probably works best as well with the Thalax stopping anything infiltrating within 24 inches of the unit. It means that Steve's infiltrating kind of slightly irrelevant in this setup and deployment anyway.
Do you know what, even if they didn't have that rule, I'm not sure I'd want it infiltrate within 24 inches of those.
It's going to be a game. I think it's going to be quite prickly early on, and I think towards the end it's just going to escalate, and there's going to be a lot of combat, and particularly a lot of shooting. You've got quite a bit of long range as well, so
sort of mid-range rather than long range.
Yeah, I
it's
guess.
so Mortalis, so it makes no difference really, does it?
Yeah. And then in the centre of the board, we've got obviously the Macrad, as I said. We've got we've tried to make the illusions of a large cavernous space by putting support beams up. Great idea from John there. Yeah. So it looks really cool. So I really hope you like the board. I think we need to get into it, don't we?
I think we do, yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
Looking forward to it.
Me too. We'll see you at the beginning of turn 1.
Here we have 1,500 points of Raven Guard using the Zone Mortalis Attacker Force Organisation chart. The Warlord is Centurion. He has the Warlord trait World Burner and no Right of War. For the Raven Guard HQ choices, we have a Centurion and a Vigilator. Both models are equipped with Artificer Armour and Refractor Fields. The Centurion has a jump pack, a plasma pistol, and a power maul. The Vigilator is armed with a bolter. The first Raven Guard elite choice is an Apothecary. He has no upgrades and will be joining the Seeker Squad. The second Raven Guard's elite choice is a Contempted Talon. It consists of 2 Contemptors. Both are armed with plasma cannons and heavy flamers. One has a Havoc missile launcher. And the third elite slot for the Raven Guard has been filled by a Mordathan squad. The Shade has Artificer Armour, and all members are armed with combi weapons, which are flamers. For the Raven Guard's troop choices, we have 2 identical squads. Both are 10-man squads, with sergeants equipped wearing Artificer Armour. For the first and only fast attack choice for the Raven Guard, we have a 6-man Seeker squad. The Strike Leader has Artificer Armour, and due to the Warlord trait World Burner, the unit has been given the Shred special rule. The Zone Mortalis Force Organisation chart only allows for 1 heavy support choice. This has been filled with a Legion support squad, heavy support squad in fact, armed with missile launchers. The Sergeant has a Nuncio Vox bolt pistol and chainsword.
Here we have 1,500 points of Mechanicum Tagmata using the Zone Mortalis Combatant Force Organisation chart. They are led by an Magos Prime of the Ordo Malagra. He has the Dread Rights Warlord trait, and they are not using any rights or formations. Leading the Mechanicum Tagmata is an Magos Prime of the Ordo Malagra. He is equipped with a jetpack, Paragon Blade, Chain Fist, Cyber Familiar, and Rad Grenades. Filling 2 troops choices for the Mechanicum Tagmata list are 2 identical squads of Thalax. Each has 5 Thalax, 5 heavy chain blades, and the Ferox upgrade. In the fast attack slots for the Mechanicum Tagmata, 2 identical Ursurax squads. Each contains 4 Ursurax, each has 3 sets of paired Power Fists and 1 set of paired Lightning Claws. Finally, in heavy support for the Mechanicum Tagmata is a cohort of Myrmidon Destructors. The Destructor Lord is equipped with an irradiation engine, and the 2 Destructors are equipped with Volkite Culverins.
John, Stephen, we're deployed. Now, we had a separate roll-up to decide who deployed first, goes second. Is that right?
So I deployed first. We're using a slightly customised deployment setup with a 2-foot square rather than the ambush circle. We're now going to roll off to see who gets the first turn and then roll for Cs to see if the Raven Guard have managed to launch their ambush successfully or if the Mechanicum's detection systems have alerted the Mechanicum to their presence.
Great stuff. All right, let's have a roll.
Roll for first turn. 5 for me.
1 for me.
So I will happily take the first turn, and I believe you're going to seize, or try the seize.
I'm not going to use that dice though.
Raven Guard are going to try and seize,
Raven
yeah?
Guard going to try and seize.
All right.
And they do not on a 2. Good luck, sir.
Luck.
Dark Mechanicum Tagmata, turn 1, movement phase. The 2 Ursurax units have moved towards the closest threats, opening the doors, enabling the units to get closer to the Tactical Squad and Contemptor, and the Seeker Squad with the Centurion and Apothecary and Vigilator inside it. The 2 Thalax squads, one including the Magos Malagra, have moved closer to the flanking Raven Guard on the other side of the board, and the Myrmidon Destructors have moved to give them line of sight to the Tactical Squad and Contemptor Dreadnought. Dark Mechanicum Tagmata, turn 1, shooting phase. The squad of Ursurax with the line of sight to Tactical Squad opened fire. 2 Ursurax could see with their Volkite incinerators, missed with every shot. Moving on to the next squad of Ursurax, all 4 had line of sight to Seekers. With 8 shots, they managed to get 1 hit, which caused a wound, which was saved by the armour of the Seekers. This unit of Thalax fired 5 lightning guns, getting 5 shots into the Tactical Squad, hitting with 2 shots, wounding with both, although no rends were obtained and armour saves were passed for both wounds. Next to fire are the Myrmidon Destructors, who opened fire on the Tactical Squad with 2 Volkite calibers. The IRAD Cleanser, being Torrent, is unable to fire over the intervening friendly unit. The 8 shots from the Volkite Culverins caused 7 hits. Using Preferred Enemy, everything, they managed to get 7 wounds. However, all but one of these are saved. The one that gets through kills one Marine whose exploding corpse through deflagrate takes down one of his brothers. Dark Mechanicum Tagmata, turn 1, assault phase. Charging into Tactical Squad, the Ursurax take reactionary fire from the Tactical Squad. This causes 2 wounds on the lead Ursurax with the lightning claws. The Hammer of Wrath from using their jump packs kills 1 Tactical Marine, and they take no wounds from dangerous terrain for using jump packs in Zone Mortalis.
Raven Guard being Initiative 4 went first. They had 10 attacks, 6 of which hit. 2 went through. 1 was saved by the armour, the other one was saved with Feel No Pain.
Initiative Step 2, the Thalax with lightning claws swings into the Tactical Squad, gets 1 hit, which thanks to Shred causes a wound at AP3, outright killing a Tactical Marine. At Initiative Step 1, 2 Ursurax are in range to hit with the close confines of the combat, 1 is out of range to attack. With the 8 Power Fist attacks hitting into the Tactical Marines, they cause 4 wounds which instantly kill 4 Tactical Marines. At the end of the combat, the Raven Guard lost by 5 and have failed their leadership test and fled 9 inches towards their table edge. The Ursurax, being equipped with Lorica Thalax, are unable to perform a sweeping advance and have consolidated 1 inch back into cover to attempt to escape from the wrath of the Contempted Dreadnought. The second unit of Ursurax declares a charge against the Seeker unit. They pass their reactionary fire test and unleash Kraken bolt rounds at full ballistic skill at the unit of Ursurax. This is enough, in conjunction with the plasma pistol of the Centurion, to kill 2 of the Ursurax. Using their jump packs to charge into the Seekers, the Ursurax get a 9-inch charge. The Hammer of Wrath attacks cause no damage.
At Initiative Step 5, the Centurion goes first. He has 3 attacks, hitting twice with his Power Mace. He causes 1 wound, which doesn't allow an armour save, and the Feel No Pain is failed, resulting in a single wound on the Ursurax. Also Initiative Step 5, the Vigilator gets to attack. He has 3 attacks, but with no special weapons. He only hit once, but he failed to wound. Striking at Initiative Step 4, the Seekers and the Apothecary strike. They have 9 attacks between them. They hit 3 times, but fail to wound.
At Initiative Step 1, the Ursurax get to swing in with 4 attacks each. They hit between them 4 times and kill 4 Marines, including the tactical sergeant. At the end of the combat, the Raven Guard are testing leadership on a -4. They passed, rolling a 4, and are locked in combat for the next turn. On this flank, the Thalax have declared a charge on the tactical squad. The tactical squad failed their reactionary fire test and were snap firing. They landed 1 hit, which didn't wound, with a rapid firing bolter. The Thalax then declared a charge, got 5 inches, which is just enough to bring them in combat with the tactical squad.
At initiative 4, the tactical squad swings first. Between them, they have 9 attacks. They hit 8 times, causing a wound, which the armour save was failed, as was the feel no pain, resulting in 1 wound.
At initiative step 2, there are 4 Thalax in range to attack the tactical squad. The sergeant manages to goalkeeper 3 attacks from 1 Thalax before a rend takes out one of his companions. On the other side of the combat, 2 rending attacks kill 2 of the tactical marines on the other side of the combat. At the end of the assault phase, the Raven Guard fail their leadership test and have fled. The sergeant and his friend have moved through the Thalax, ending at least an inch away, and the Raven Guard continue to flee. Quite a good turn for the Mechanicum. Unfortunate to lose 2 Ursarax to Overwatch from the Seekers, but a good amount of damage done there, and good to be stuck in combat. With the inability to sweep, it's good to be stuck in combat and not facing shooting from them. The Thalax did quite well against the tactical squad, and it was nice to see the Ursarax do some damage to the second tactical squad. So now just to weather the storm of fire that is bound to be coming my way from the Raven Guard in their first turn.
Raven Guard, turn 1, movement phase. The heavy support squad has opened the door in front of them, hoping for some juicy shots in the shooting phase. The Contempted Dreadnought has opened the door and pulled back because he's got a heavy flamer in his fist and a plasma cannon. He doesn't want to hit himself with his template. The tactical squad failed their leadership test again and continued fleeing. The Mortalis squad have advanced forward, hoping to get closer to the objective. The Seekers and my commanders are still locked in combat. The tactical squad at this end passed their morale check and have advanced forward 3 inches. The Contempted Dreadnought has gone round the corner and is lining up those Ursarax for some juicy, juicy shots. Raven Guard turn 1 shooting phase. The first shots of the turn came from the Contempted Dreadnought. His flamer hit 4 of the Thalax, causing 4 wounds. 2 was saved by the feel no pain. However, that has resulted in 2 wounds on an already wounded Thalax, meaning 1 model was removed. The plasma cannon fired in, it's scattered by 2 inches, meaning it only hit 1 model. However, that model failed its feel no pain, resulting in 1 wound on the closest model. With a lack of targets for the heavy support squad to shoot at, they have elected to run. Initially, they rolled 2 inches. However, the Raven Guard have fleet on their infantry units. The reroll resulted in a 5. They are positioning themselves to ambush any models that tried to push through their lines. The Mortalis squad, again with no targets to shoot at, have opted to run. They rolled 3 inches, elected to re-roll due to fleet. However, they rolled 3 inches again. The Contempted Dreadnought opened up with his heavy flamer, hitting 3 of the Ursarax, causing 2 wounds. The front Ursarax, already being wounded, failed his feel no pain and died. The second Ursarax has taken a wound. Following its success with the flamer, the Contemptor has opened up with the plasma cannon. His shot did not scatter. It hit 2 of the Ursarax. Both wounds were on the front Ursarax, which had already been wounded by the heavy flamer, removing the model. Next up was going to be the Havoc Launchers. The Havoc Launcher, scattering 1 inch, hit 2 of the Ursarax. It caused 1 wound, and all saves were failed. The Ursarax then passed their leadership test. Raven Guard turn 1 assault phase. The Contemptor has declared a charge against the unit of Thalax. The Thalax were unable to pass their initiative test for their Overwatch fire, so they snapshot. They caused no damage at all, which is exactly the same as the Contemptor's Hammer of Wrath attack. Striking at initiative 4, the Dreadnought goes first with 4 attacks on the charge. He swings, he hits twice, and at strength 10, rolling 2 3s, he instantly kills 2 of the Thalax.
Striking at initiative step 2, the 2 Thalax swing in with 4 attacks. They land 3 hits but fail to penetrate the front armour of the Contempted Dreadnought.
After such a successful combat, the Thalax were swept by the Contempted Dreadnoughts, who then rolled 6 for his consolidation move and has fallen back to try and avoid taking damage from all those armor-bane weapons. The continuing combat between the Ursarax and the Seeker squad. At initiative step 5, the Centurion swung in with 3 attacks from his power maul, hitting twice, wounding twice, and both Feel No Pains were failed. The Ursarax he was in base contact with already had a wound, so has been removed as a casualty. Also at initiative step 5, the Vigilator struck, however he failed to do any damage. At initiative step 4, the Apothecary and the remaining 2 Seekers have swung in. They have actually managed to cause a wound on the Ursarax.
Swinging in at initiative step 1, the Ursarax with his 3 attacks fails to hit with all attacks. He's stubborn, passes his leadership test on a leadership of 8, remains locked in combat with a Raven Guard.
Turn 1 roundup for the Raven Guard. After failing to get the initiative at the beginning of the game, they have actually successfully repulsed the initial attacks of the Mechanicum. A very successful turn.
Dark Mechanicum, turn 2, movement phase. The Myrmidon Destructors have moved up, hoping to get a charge lined up on the Contempted Dreadnought. The Thalax behind them have turned around and are attempting to get some range on the Mortalis across the board from them. The 2 Ursarax have moved out to give them an even easier charge on the Contemptor. Dark Mechanicum, turn 2, shooting phase. The only unit which can shoot and injury unit it's shooting at is the unit of Thalax with the Arc Magos. 2 lightning guns are in range of the Mortalis. Both open up, both miss, causing no damage. Dark Mechanicum, turn 2, assault phase. The Myrmidon Destructors successfully made their charge in the Contemptor, taking 1 wound from a heavy flamer on the way in. The Ursarax only just made their 3-inch charge into the second Contemptor, again taking a wound, leaving 1 Ursarax on 1 wound from the reactionary fire from the heavy flamer. Finally, the Thalax with the Magos have used their jetpacks, got a mighty 10-inch thrust to hopefully take them out of the line of fire of the Mortalis in the next turn.
Combat between the Myrmidon Destructors and the Contemptor Dreadnought. The Contemptor swung first at initiative step 4. He hit 3 times, wounded 3 times. However, 2 of the invulnerable saves were made, resulting in 1 of the Myrmidons, being the Lord, smeared into a sticky paste that will be a pain to remove later.
The Myrmidon Destructors get 6 attacks. They hit with 3 of them. All 3 penetrate. All 3 make it through the adamantic shielding, explode the Contempted Dreadnought, although no damage is done to the Destructors, who then consolidated 3 inches.
Combat between the Ursarax and the second Contemptor. Contemptor striking initiative 4, attacked 3 times, hit twice, wounded twice, and at strength 10, that instantly killed both of the Ursarax. He then consolidated 3 inches to get into a better position to support the rest of the Raven Guard advance. Combat between the second Ursarax squad and the Seekers. At initiative step 5, the Centurion swings in again with 3 attacks, wounding twice. However, 1 of the Feel No Pain saves is made, leaving that Ursarax on 1 wound. Also at initiative step 5, the Vigilator attacks. He hits 3 times but fails to wound. At initiative step 4, the Apothecary and the remaining members of the Seeker squad swung in, removing the last wound from the Ursarax. For consolidation, they rolled 3 inches. They've advanced towards the Thalax, lining up for some blast template shooting in the Raven Guard second turn.
Dark Mechanicum, turn 2, a mixed bag of a turn. Now all that's left for the Magos Prime is to try and cover the objective and hold off the Raven Guard for as long as possible.
Raven Guard turn 2 movement. The heavy support squad has engaged in Benny Hill warfare, trying to chase the Myrmidons around in circles. The tactical squad passed their morale check and have advanced 3 inches towards the objective. The Seekers have remained stationary, however the characters attached to them have moved in order to change target priority. The Mortalis squad have moved around to have a reserve attack at the Thalax. The Tactical squad has advanced 6 inches, as has the Contempted Dreadnought. Raven Guard turn 2 shooting phase. The Seeker squad open up with shooting, firing Tempest shells into the Thalax. Due to World Burner and the Zone Mortalis special rules, the Tempest shells that are fired are strength 4 with shred. This results in 8 hits, 5 wounds, 2 of which go through. After that, the plasma pistol on the Centurion is fired into the same squad. It hits, it causes a wound, however it's saved by the container being in the way of the shot. Next up, the Contempted Dreadnoughts targets the Thalax unit. Combined fire from his Havoc Launcher and Plasma Cannon results in 3 wounds, killing one of the Thalax. To end the Raven Guard shooting phase, the final 3 units have ran. The Tactical squad ran 5 inches to get closer to the Contempted Dreadnoughts. The Heavy Support squad ran 3 inches just to gain distance from the Myrmidons. And finally, the Mortalis squad, despite rolling 2 for their initial round move, then rolled a 1 for fleet. To round up Raven Guard's second turn, not an amazing turn, but they have consolidated closer to the objective and taken out a few more of the Dark Mechanicum, which will hopefully make the rest of the game a little easier.
Dark Mechanicum, turn 3, movement phase. Opening the movement phase, the Myrmidon Destructors have moved towards the Tactical squad, keeping out of line of sight of the Contemptor and the Missile Heavy Support squad. On the other side of the battlefield, the Thalax have come out of cover and have started closing with the Centurion and Seekers. Dark Mechanicum, turn 3, shooting phase. The Myrmidon Destructors open fire on the Raven Guard Tactical squad, getting 7 hits with their Volkite Culverins. Thanks to preferred enemy, they get 7 wounds. All but one of these are saved, and the Deflagrate wound is also saved, so 1 casualty on the Raven Guard Tactical squad. Finishing the Dark Mechanicum's third shooting phase, the Thalax open fire with lightning guns on the Seeker unit. Getting 2 hits and 2 wounds, one of them makes it through the Artificer armour of the Centurion, causing a wound. Dark Mechanicum, turn 3, assault phase. Declaring a charge on the Seekers, the Thalax charge into the Seekers, making it into combat. Seekers pass their reactionary fire test, overwatching at full ballistic skill with Kraken bolt shells. They get 4 hits, they cause no wounds. The Centurion's plasma pistol overheats, but he passes his save. The Magos Malagra issues a challenge, which is accepted by the Vigilator.
Swinging in at Initiative 5, the Centurion strikes at the Thalax 3 times. 2 hits are successful. 1 is saved by Feel No Pain, however 1 goes through. The closest model had already suffered 2 wounds, so is removed from play. In the challenge at Initiative 5, the Vigilator swings, he hits once but causes no wounds. At Initiative 4, the Seekers and the Apothecary strike, hitting twice, causing 1 wound, which was not saved by the Feel No Pain.
At Initiative Step 2, the Thalax swing in with 12 attacks. They hit with 9 of them. They cause 7 wounds, thanks to preferred enemy characters conveying preferred enemy onto a squad, which has a character in. Due to rad grenades on the Magos, the Space Marines are at toughness 3, so the strength 7 attacks deny their Feel No Pain. Luckily, 1 rending wound kills a Space Marine outright, and all of the others, bar 1, are tanked on armour saves, so 2 killed by the Thalax. At Initiative 1, the Archmagos Malagra swings at the Vigilator. Of his 5 attacks, 2 hit, both of them wound with his Chain Fist. He gets through the invulnerable save, and the other one carries over to the Apothecary, killing the Apothecary. The Centurion passes his leadership test, rolling a 3, leaving him locked in combat with the murderous Magos Malagra and his band of merry Thalax. Probably the best result I could have got for the Magos and his men, it stops them from being shot at by the Raven Guard next turn. I'm still in a fairly strong position. Just need to keep weathering the storm.
Raven Guard's turn 3 movement phase. The heavy support squad have furthered their advance to try and flank the objective. The tactical squad again has advanced towards the objective. The Mortalis squad, they've advanced towards the objective, as has the Contempted Dreadnought and the tactical squad behind that. Raven Guard turn 3 shooting phase. Not a single shot has been fired this turn. All units have ran. The heavy support squad ran 4 inches. The tactical squad ran 5 inches. The Mortalis squad ran 6 inches. The Contemptors ran 6 inches, as have the tactical marines behind him. My plan is to give John too many targets to deal with. Raven Guard turn 3 assault phase. In the ongoing combat between the Centurion, the Phalanx and the Magos. Initiative step 5, the Centurion swang with 3 attacks, all 3 hit, all 3 wounded, but as it was a challenge, they were all tanked on the Magos' 2+ armour save.
At initiative step 2, the Phalanx, with their programming ignoring the challenge, have 6 attacks in total, 4 hit, 3 wound, and the Artificer armour saves him from all of them. At initiative step 1, the Archmagos Malagra swang at the Centurion. He got 3 hits, 3 wounds, which was enough to kill the Centurion. They then consolidated 4 inches, moving slightly further away from the Mortalis, out of the frying pan into the fire.
Round up for the Raven Guard's 3rd turn. A very good turn. Not a lot of damage caused, however the Raven Guard are in a very strong position to take the objective, or at least deny it to the Mechanicum.
Dark Mechanicum, turn 4, movement phase. The Myrmidons have come back round the corner to line up some shots on the side armour of the Contemptor with their Volkite culverins. The Magos Malagra has split away from the Phalanx unit and moved closer to the Contemptor, and the Phalanx have moved closer to the tactical squad. Dark Mechanicum, turn 4, shooting phase. Opening fire with their Volkite culverins on the Contemptor Dreadnought, scoring 8 hits thanks to preferred enemy. The Myrmidon Destructors managed to strip 2 hull points from the Contemptor, which are not saved by its adamantic shielding. Opening fire on the tactical squad closest to the objective with their lightning guns, the Phalanx score 3 hits. They score 3 wounds, one of which is a rend. The rend kills a marine. The remaining 2 hits are tanked on the Artificer armour of the sergeant. The squad then passes its leadership check. Dark Mechanicum, turn 4, assault phase. Declaring a charge on the tactical squad, who passed their reactionary fire check. The tactical squad managed 3 hits and 3 wounds. On the Phalanx, 1 armour save was failed, leaving 1 wound on one of the Phalanx. They then failed their charge due to intervening terrain. The Magos Malagra charged the Contemptor, hitting it at initiative 4. The Contemptor hit twice, caused 2 wounds. 1 invulnerable save was failed on the Magos, which was enough to kill him, thanks to instant death from the Strength 10 fist. The Contemptor consolidated 5 inches, moving closer to the Phalanx. Disappointing turn. It was good to get rid of the Centurion in the Raven Guard's turn. Unfortunate that I lost the Magos and couldn't make the charge with the Phalanx, who I believe will now be disintegrated.
Raven Guard turn 4 movement phase. The heavy support squad has continued their advance, as have the tactical squad moving into contact with the objective. The Mortalis squad have lined up to do a fatal strike attack on the Phalanx. The Contempted Dreadnought has stayed put as he didn't need to get any closer. And finally, the tactical squad has advanced forward towards the objective. Raven Guard turn 4 shooting phase. The Mortalis have released their fatal strike attack, meaning that their shooting weapons have twin linked and rending. As they have combi flamers, those combi flamers gain shred, meaning that between the bolters and the flamers, 3 wounds were put onto the Phalanx, removing 1 model and adding 1 wound to a second. The continuing shooting phase, the Contemptor has fired all of its weapons, being Heavy Flamer, Plasma Cannon and Havoc Launcher at the Thalax, successfully removing one of the Thalax. The 2 tactical squads both opened up on the remaining Thalax. It's a total of 14 shots, 9 of which hit, 3 of which wounded, but they were all saved by the Thalax's armour. Final act of turn 4 Raven Guard shooting is for the heavy support squad to run forward into a position where they can cover the objective if everything goes wrong. Raven Guard turn 4 assault phase. Contempted Dreadnought declared a charge against the lone Thalax, who passed his reactionary fire test, hitting the Contemptor, glancing, forcing an invulnerable save which was failed, wrecking the Dreadnought due to only having 1 hold point left. Round up for the Raven Guard's 4th turn. Raven Guard are in a very, very strong position despite losing their foolhardy Contemptor brother. They're in position to hold the objective and launch counterattacks if the Myrmidons or the Thalax make a run for the objective.
Dark Mechanicum, turn 5, movement phase. A lot of moving to be done. Eventually the movement phase was over. The Thalax has moved closer to the Mordathan, and the 2 Myrmidon Destructors have shifted to give them a better angle on the tactical squad on the objective. Dark Mechanicum, turn 5, shooting phase. Opening fire on the Mordathan with his lightning gun, the Thalax gets a hit and a wound, fails to penetrate the armour. The Myrmidon Destructors then open fire with their Volkite Culverins at the tactical squad. They score 8 hits thanks to preferred enemy, 8 wounds thanks to preferred enemy. They kill the 1 tactical marine, and the rest of the shots bounce off the Sergeant's Artificer armour, including a death rate wound. They took a leadership test and they passed. Dark Mechanicum, turn 5, assault phase. Charging at the Mordathan squad, who failed their reactionary fire test. The Mordathan got 4 hits on the Thalax with a flamer, 2 hits with bolters. This was enough to finally strip the last wound of the Thalax, removing him from play. Overall, not the best turn. I'd hope that the Thalax would get into Mordathan, consolidate onto the objective and contest it. I think the Raven Guard have got free reign now. It's potentially the last turn of the game. Just have to see what happens.
Raven Guard, turn 5 movement phase. The Raven Guard have played the objective this turn rather than trying to cause casualties. There are currently 2 units that are capable of scoring the War of Lies objective. There is only 1 unit to attack them, so I'm in a strong position to win this turn or next turn if there's a 6th turn. Raven Guard turn 5 shooting phase. The 2 tactical marines by the objective took some pot shots at the Myrmidons. They did hit twice, wound once, but the armour was enough to stop the bolt round going through. This is currently the end of the game, unless we roll 4+ on a d6. That's the end of the game. Let's go back to the studio to see what the score is.
The Raven Guard have attempted to cease production of the Macrocarad Explorator vehicle STC from the Mechanicum, and we're about to find out if they were successful. But before we do the victory points and all the rolls, gents, that was a hell of a game.
Yeah, absolutely. I've not seen a game with that many peaks and troughs in a long time for both sides as well, I think.
Yeah, it was a bit wild. You both had some amazing dice at times. You know, the tactics which you played were fantastic. I think the scenario really showed the versatility of the Raven Guard, kind of outflanking, getting in position. You know, in the end, you did seal it quite nicely, I think. But we'll find out, though.
Absolutely.
Let's quickly remind ourselves what we did. We played a Death Toll game. There was Slay the Warlord and Death Toll. So you both scored Slay the Warlord. Congratulations. Netting you a point each. Mm-hmm. You also both scored 5 points on Death Toll. Yeah. So it's currently a draw, but the Raven Guard secured the objective at the end, which was the computer console by the Macrocarad, and now we roll on the War of Lies chart. So, Steve, your fate is in your hands, to be fair. You could win or lose it on this dice.
I don't want a 6.
No, you don't.
I want a 2.
Yeah.
I got a 2.
Oh. So he edged it out with 1 victory point. So the final score is 6 to the... 6 to the Dark Mechanicum and 7 to the Raven Guard. So congratulations.
Well done, Steve.
So that is the STC destroyed now.
It is, yes.
No more macro carriers, I'm afraid, people.
Yeah.
Blame Steve.
Yeah, well, blame Steve and Floyd Rod. But yeah, what a shame. It's a sad thing, really, that the tank's gone out. But I must confess, I don't think I've seen many in any tournaments or many lists. They don't make it into lists very often, which is a real shame. But yeah, it's a bit of a shame, I guess.
Yeah, it's a nice one.
It is. Let's talk about the units you brought back. We'll start with you. What do you got?
So I brought back my Myrmidon Destructors, even though the Myrmidon Lord was smushed by a Contemptor in the first round of combat. I think they consistently, reliably did well and also survived the battle, which is the only unit of mine that managed to do so. They managed to take 5 hull points off through glancing hits off various Contemptors and Power Fists. They chipped away at the Marines quite reliably. I think they just performed. I mean, there were a couple of units I was tempted to bring back. That one Thalax who took out the Contemptor with a reactionary fire.
Amazing.
Yeah, the Magos who minced through the Seeker squad and the Centurion. He did quite well, but I think these guys probably the best all-rounders for me.
Yeah, they did. They did a good job, definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. For the first time out as well, which is pretty good. First time I've used it.
No new model syndrome.
Yeah, exactly.
That's good. And Steve, tell us about your Dreadnought.
Well, this Dreadnought, there were many units I could have chosen. The Seekers doing that reactionary fire and taking out 2 Ursarax on the charge, that was quite impressive. And then actually lasting the combat with them, that was impressive. But it has to be this guy. This guy single-handedly took out an Ursarax. In one round of shooting, he took out 2 of them. And when they charged him, he took out the following 2. He then put wounds onto Thalax going up towards the objective. I wasn't going to charge him at that final Thalax, but I thought, that's not very heroic, is it?
I'm glad that you did, to be fair.
I was expecting that to happen, and yeah, it was great. It was actually great. It's like foolhardy, brother.
Yeah.
I brought back somebody else as well.
We've had a mascot in all day.
My good luck mascot. This is Macca.
Yeah.
And he's been a good boy all day.
He has been very good. He's very soft to touch.
Yes, he is.
He's been a good dog. He's been sleeping most days. He's been very bored about what we've been up to during the day, but I think he's enjoyed himself, hasn't he?
Yeah.
It's good fun.
Sit back down on your chair now, mate.
He gets his own chair, which is quite impressive. It is a shame we didn't do dice rolls in this game because there were some really amazing situations where, like the snap shooting Thalax into the Contemptor, we're always under time constraints to do dice rolls, and I am going to try and work them back in, but it's just a bit tricky. I don't want to have to explain why we don't do them anymore, but it is a little bit tricky. But it would have been nice to have seen that Overwatch. It's quite cool when your numbers come up. It's like
the combat between the Ursarax and the Contemptor, where it smashed them both before they got to attack. The combat between the Magos and the Contemptor, where he got minced before he got a chance to swing. That would have been nice to see dice rolls.
All those run moves of 6.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Without even needing the by wing and talon special rule as well, which is quite nice. So
yeah. The issue we've got with doing dice rolls is it just does slow the game up quite a lot. I mean, you got to remember that guys come 3, 4, 5 hours travel. We film for 8 to 10 hours, and they've got to travel home that day as well. Yeah. So when you start introducing dice rolls, it adds extra hours into the day, and then you end up doing a 14-hour day, which gets dangerous if you're traveling long distance. But we will try and get a few dice rolls in next time. I have to say, I think the scenario was fantastic, but the way the armies played the mission was just brilliant. It really showed the strength of the Raven Guard. The fact that we did modify the ambush deployment, if it was any closer, it would have been, I don't know, but it was better that they got into combat quite quickly.
Yeah, it gave me a little bit more room to play around with deployment. I wasn't expecting Steve to get up as close in deployment as he did, and I thought, looking at that, by kind of the start of my first assault phase, I thought I had it in the bag at that point.
So did I.
Yeah, me too.
Unfortunately, my Ursarax behaving less like Ursarax and more like wacky, inflatable, wavy arm man in close combat didn't really help. But no, I mean, that game was all over the place, really. I mean, I was kind of one turn thinking I was going to get smashed, and the next turn, I've got a chance. Yeah. It was down to the War of Lies, really. So, a very good game.
we were really worried that the game was going very quickly after turn 2, which it did look that way, but for some miraculous reason it came round. So.
I think it's my tactical dice change
Was it?
around the third turn.
Yeah.
Oh,
Which you'll notice that after the third turn, my dice rolls got very, very better anyway.
Well, just tell us about the dice you were using.
So yesterday we were at Warhammer World. For the first 2 turns, I picked up some Warhammer Community dice, which are nice little metal dice, but they only roll 1s and 2s. I didn't realise they did D2s, but apparently they found a way of making them.
They're really heavy though.
They're very
Solid
heavy.
metal.
They're nice dice, yeah.
Actually, you don't need to put that in the sock.
No, I don't need to put that in the sock. I've got the Warhammer dice now to use as an offensive weapon. But I switched over to some other dice I've had that have been quite reliable for me. So, yeah.
They did all right till the
They
end.
did. I think it's all psychological, to be honest. You only really notice the bad rolls, but with the Warhammer dice, all I got was bad rolls. So.
We've got a few more shout-outs to say before we leave.
Yep, absolutely.
You can follow me on Instagram. I'm on Aegis_Aquila.
Excellent.
My Instagram at the moment, I'm having some issues with it, but I'd like to give a shout out to Devil Dog Painting, who commission painted this fantastic macrocarad.
Excellent.
They've done a fantastic job on it. So shout out to Devil Dog Painting as well.
I think he's a great guy.
Well,
do we reveal the identity of Double Dog Painting?
Hi.
Good. So yeah, Steve made a really great effort of the macro carad there. It looks great. A real solid, clean job there. So it's fantastic.
Yeah. And also thanks to David for letting us bring it down and it's the centrepiece of the game as well. And thanks to David for having us as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Always like a game with a bit of a story to it. I love using models as a central objective, and it just fitted perfectly in with the Forge-World story and our story today. So it was good fun. I've taken a ton of photos from today's game, so please go to the Facebook page when this game is released. They will be available to view. Gents, thank you so much for your efforts today. I really, really enjoyed myself. It was fantastic.
Great day.
Thank
you for having us.
My pleasure.
Yeah, and we hope you've enjoyed the game as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we will see you in the next one.